Hey guys, it's Phil, and last year I made an adventure boot video that really took off. It's the video where I showcased breaking my leg. This year, we're going deeper. Comfort versus protection, or comfort and protection, the holy grail of adventure motorcycle boots. Next to me, I have 3 boots that I've worn over the years. We're gonna talk about my own crash-tested reality with these boots, with the manufacturer's claim, and I'll give you my take on comfort versus protection with respect to all these boots. My friend Jim Pruner, who was on my podcast last year and who writes for webbikeworld.com, said it best. There's no such thing as comfort and protection.
When I hear people say that, I kind of tell them, what you're asking is impossible because there's always a compromise. And I think especially if you're riding off-road, but really if you're just riding a motorcycle, you need to eventually get to the place where you realize you shouldn't compromise protection for comfort.
You gotta have one or the other. Are you riding a motorcycle today or are you hiking today? You gotta make that choice. So with that in mind, let's get into this video. In today's video, we're looking at 3 very different adventure boots, breaking down the real world pros and cons and whether they're worth your money. I'll also share the current MSRP of these boots as of today, but remember, that price is always subject to change. So let's get it started with the ever popular, which I wore for almost 4 years, Forma adventure boots. On paper, the Forma Adventures check all the boxes: full grain oiled leather, Dry-Tex waterproof liner, TPU inserts, reinforced heel and toe cups, and a CE safety rating. MSRP is around $299 US right now. These were my first set of adventure boots. I bought them when I had my 2015 KLR 650. Who hasn't had a KLR 650? It's the ultimate super heavy thumper that's gonna get you to maybe 70 miles an hour. Just don't forget your milk crates on the side for luggage. But I also used the Forma boots on my GS Adventure, my 2021 GS Adventure. Primarily, mostly road riding with a little bit of light dirt. I've ridden these Formas in all kinds of weather, mostly pavement, a little dirt like I said, and luckily I've never had a real crash in them. Honestly, I bought them because that's what I thought you should buy, adventure boots. They say adventure and they have the buckles on the side and they look tough, so that's why I went with them. And this is what I'm talking about. They've got the buckles here, right? Adventure right here on the back, but if you just simply do this, I mean, you can see that these things are gonna fold like they say a cheap lawn chair. So yeah, maybe some sliding protection, but for actual like ankle support and protection. If your riding is mostly street with the occasional easy dirt road, these boots could work. But for real adventure riding or backcountry routes, wherever a tip over is part of the game, I personally would want more protection. I gotta scoot up here and get out of the sun. It's blocking my shot. Up next is the REV'IT Expedition GTX. The Expeditions bring more to the table with a hefty price tag. A Vibram sole, Gore-Tex waterproofing, shin plate, Seasoft impact protection, a support frame, and a BOA closure system. Current MSRP is around $740, depending on where you buy them at. So I used the REV'IT Expedition GTX in Africa on a Sherco 300, where I had probably more than 10 spills, but these were all sort of low speed spills, trying to do some rock enduro stuff, where I did have to put my foot down, and they were great. I've used them on my BMW GS to ride around here in Colorado, and I never really had a big get off on those boots until last year, and that's the video that I made in South Dakota when I went down pretty good speed on a trail that was a little slick, big bike, boom, broke my leg. So I will say that these boots offer a pretty good amount of protection. I think that personally, I did break my leg in them, but they kept me from, say, fracturing it more than I did. So they did provide some adequate support, but they're nowhere near what the boots I wear now are, and we'll get to that. But if you take these and you flex them, they flex much less than the Forma boots, right? You can't really go side to side like I did with the other ones unless you really big bike falling over at speed, put some big pressure on them, in which case they will bend and flex, as you can see, right? Super comfortable boot. We did this thing on this motorcycle boot camp I did in Africa where we had to walk for like a mile, and they were great. So they are very comfortable. They're probably the most or the best combination of comfort and protection leaning a little less to the protection side so that you gain that comfort, but definitely better than the Forma boots. If you could split your riding about 50-50 between pavement and dirt and want one boot to do it all, these could be a great choice. But if maximum protection is your top priority, I personally would keep looking. All right, so the next boot, the Leatt 5.5 Flexlock Enduro. Now just a quick caveat here, I know there are other boots out there, CD, Alpine Stars, etc., Garnier. Look, I'm only gonna talk to you about the boots that I've personally worn, but I believe that the Flexlock 5.5 Enduros, you know, pretty much a standard Enduro motocross type boot. So that's the perspective that I'm giving you. The Leatt 5.5 Flexlock Enduros are built for serious protection. Adjustable Flexlock, reinforced construction, steel shank. MSRP sits around $489 US, although you can get them for cheaper. I've seen them online, closeouts. These boots right here I got on a closeout for like 280 bucks. So pretty good deals on the Leatt 5.5s. So I do have 2 sets of these and I've worn them on my GS, on my KTM 890 Adventure R, on my 250 dirt bike, and I have gone down more on the dirt bike, but many times on these boots, and the level of protection that they provide has been absolutely fantastic. You know, it's one of those, what's the peace of mind worth? And to ride in a boot like this gives me extreme peace of mind, especially coming off a broken leg and having to sit on the sidelines for a couple months last year. So you might be wondering, well, how comfortable are these? I have walked around in Moab, checking out some sites. I've walked around in the mud when I got my BMW stuck for like hours. Okay, so you're not going hiking in these, but they are comfortable enough to wear all day and to walk around off your bike at the gas station doing what you got to do. And if you're wondering about the bend flex test, well, I'll show you, but it's not going to happen. I mean, you can kind of pull the top back, but you can see there's really no side to side in the ankle portion here. So here's the deal. If you want to ride a BDR, if you're doing a little more aggressive stuff, if you want a boot that can transition, between your dirt bike, your adventure bike, and do all the types of terrain and give you the peace of mind, I personally would gravitate more, as I said, I think I've said the word gravitate quite a bit, towards something like the Leatt 5.5 Enduros or the Alpine Stars or the CDs, a boot like that. Here's the key takeaway, guys. Comfort's great until you get hurt, right? And I've been hurt and it sucks. If you look at the video that I posted last year, there were so many people posted that they too had either just broken their leg or had a leg in a cast, all the things. It happens, we ride motorcycles. And if you want to do something that's more street focused and actually walk around quite a bit, then maybe the Forma is for you. But the level of protection there is not going to be great. Drop a comment below and tell me what your go-to boot is. Have you been injured? Drop a comment below and let me know what boot you got injured in, right? I'm super interested. I wanted to follow up and it's taken me a year. I've been very excited to make this video. So guys, thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, do all the things. I'm wrapping this up just as the sun is starting to blast the side of my face. So the shot might be ruined. Shot's not ruined. Anyways, it's been great making this video and we will see you on the next one.